Chapter 121.
Kuh.
121. A second conversation. I look at Nina eating her meal from afar. Sometimes our eyes met and it became awkward, where then the ball rabbit would scold me, so I lower my eyes. This continued until the end of the meal. The ball rabbit cleaned up whatever was left. What's going on in its stomach? It should have eaten more than its weight, but it seems as if its appearance doesn't change. Nina's complexion has become better after finishing her meal. I think that her facial expressions have become somewhat lighter. Now that I think about it, I feel as if I had not eaten anything recently. So what should I do now that Nina's meal is over? The MP consumption of a human transformation technique is pretty high. If I use it, I will have to make sure the flow of the conversation progresses steadily while watching the decrease in MP. My MP has already considerably decreased due to my fight with the needle camel. It's also necessary to leave a little MP, but determining how much would be good is difficult. I also need to plan out what I want to talk about in advance, how to end it and how to deal with how she may act towards it ahead of time. Making a mistake will only be a waste of MP. If I move slowly, she won't be as stunned as she was before. The human transformation technique will be better this time around since its LV is now 4, but it still looks a little scary when I only take the shape of a human. While thinking over what to do, Nina walked over in my direction. Her steps are cautious and I could sense fear. Nina is tightly hugging the ball rabbit in her arms. Somehow, I have this happy feeling. Thank you very much, Naya. For the meal you prepared, and well, did you help me get away from that monster? Guru? I say so with a low voice. Well, here it goes. If it's now, I should be able to smoothly talk using the human transformation technique. How much MP do I have? I Russia. Race, Evil Plague Dragon. State, Normal. LV, 29/75. HP, 182/293. MEP, 41,213. 41 seconds, the conversation will have to be brief. I have to at least leave a little or it'll collapse again. Is 30 seconds the limit? To begin with, I only had about 3 minutes at its fullest. Well, it should do. I still need to hear where Nina wants to go after all. If I don't do anything now, she will end up as monster's food first, and if I stay with her too long, the effects of dragon scales will start to affect her. I've finally come to a resolution, took a deep breath and activated human transformation technique. Heat runs throughout my body as it compresses. I don't know whether it was because the skill was LV4 or I just got used to it, but it was not painful. The shape of my body is more stable than before. Before the skill leveled up, it was hard to find a place to look at me, especially since I was naked. I have a tail, scales, and fangs that are hanging around. Well, I can't afford to look over my change carefully. I don't know if it was because it was the second time she saw this figure, or it was because it was more stable than before, but Nina doesn't get as frightened as she was before. Nina was hugging the ball rabbit so tightly that the ball rabbit started smacking her arms with its ears.
Where wanna go?
This place dangerous. I take you somewhere, I Russia. When I ask, Nina's mouth shuts. The silence continues as my MP is steadily decreasing. Something, please say something. Was my way of asking bad? Or maybe, it's my appearance after all? Was it, my home will be burned if I say my home? I do not understand, Naya. Where does Nina want to go? She slumps her head down. The ball rabbit looks up at her face and cheerfully barks Peffu. It doesn't look like she will be going back to that place where she was brought from in the carriage. I wouldn't think that she would follow the man who seems to be her master. Especially since he tried to feed her to that centipede to become its food. Somewhere, in trees, I Russia. The moment I opened my mouth, I felt a sense of magical power getting pulled out of my body.
Kuh.
122 Hyena. I run with Nina on my back while being careful not to shake her off. She's holding the ball rabbit with one arm and using her claws on the other hand to desperately hold onto me. Since it's the ball rabbit, you don't have to hold it like that, as I'm sure it could just hold on with its ears. For the ball rabbit, this speed is still good enough for it to be on my head. Nina was panicking in the beginning, but she seems better now, and the amount of power she is using to hold on to me has slackened a bit. When I looked back, it seems that she's comfortable enough to look around. There was no timidness left, it looked like she was having fun. Peffu, Peffu. The ball rabbit stretches its ears from Nina's arms and hits my back. Have you gotten hungry? It should have eaten while I was paying attention to Nina a while ago. I guess it was saving some for her. The way it's struggling is like an incarnation of appetite. Oh, looks like I was too preoccupied looking at the ball rabbit as I slowed down a bit.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Garua. Even if you ask, I'm sorry but I can't answer. I'll tell you when we get there. But don't worry, we'll be there soon. I should think about what to do after we get to where I left the remains of the needle camel. Being a human in this desert is tough, you will get thirsty and your physical strength will become exhausted. I should make a tent out of the needle camel's body for Nina and the ball rabbit. Even if the ball rabbit eats some, there should be plenty left to work with. Oh, looks like we're almost there. The hill we just crossed feels familiar, my mouth instinctively opened. 8 beasts were gathered around the remains of the needle camel messily eating. The beasts have refined short legs and looked like gray leopards. No, it was more like a hyena than a leopard. The 8 were different in size and some were small newborns.
Eso?
Izo. Aviso. They cry as if singing when I look at them, they run away while holding a piece of the needle camel. Hey, at least leave it there. I feel a murderous stare coming from the ball rabbit behind me. I don't think it was an E-rank monster. Still, I can't just let the hyenas escape. I'll check their status for now, I guess. It might be dangerous to follow after them with my current MP. I turn my eyes towards the hardiest-looking fellow. Race, Ionian. State, normal. LV, 23/27. HP, 83/83.
MEPE, 31/31.
Attack, 95. Defense, 64.
Mana, 41.
Speed, 113. Rank, D. Characteristic skill. Group behavior, LV, Wild Intuition, LV1. Resistance skill. Earth attribute resistance, LV3. Poison resistance, LV2. Decay resistance, LV2. Normal skill. Howl, LV2. Bite, LV2. Mirage, LV3. Group call, LV3. Title skill. Chicken Runner, LV3. Grave robbing, LV2. Stealing, LV2. Alright, I'll be able to handle this. I can't wait to mince them up like ground meat and make a mountain of hyena hamburger. When I was about to start my chase, I suddenly remembered Nina, who was behind me. I can't leave like this. How am I supposed to keep an eye on her while chasing them? Run backwards? Well, for now I'll just run a little away from the flock and just target the slowest Ionian. As I was beginning my chase, I felt a sense of déjà vu. Perhaps, was this a mirage? At the same time I thought so, the Ionian's form distorted and appeared farther than before. It's already this far. But at least I was able to catch on early, I'll still be able to catch up.
J.
I give a warning to Nina and the ball rabbit who are on my back. I won't go full speed, but it should be decent enough, just until I catch it. As I put strength into my feet, the Ionian rushed towards me. It's as if it's eager. I thought that it was a mirage, but I don't feel that it is. The status check also confirmed it. Just what is it thinking? For some reason the smallest Ionian was the one that rushed. It was 2 times smaller than the others, its eyes were flat and the meat seemed soft. Compared to the ball rabbit that tripled in size, I feel that the Ionian's evolution does not affect it much apart from its name. Isn't this Ionian just a child? Eso. Izo. It was high-pitched like that of a child. I stopped moving after I heard it. When I set my eyes on it, it picked up a piece of the needle camel by its mouth. Apparently, it came back to pick up what it dropped along the way. The young Ionian delightfully narrows its eyes and shakes off the sand from the cactus. I could take it out with one blow if I time it right. Although, I can do it, my hands won't move. I can't do something like that as a human being, even though I'm a dragon now. Come on, don't lose focus now, me. I have killed many monsters before. Shouldn't this be the same as following escaping prey? I desperately think as such, but my body still doesn't move at all. Avisu. My focus returns after hearing the sharp barks. A seasoned-looking adult Ionian picks up the young one from the back of the neck and rushed towards his flock after glancing at me. A piece of the needle camel falls out again from the young Ionian's mouth along the way. Eso. The young Ionian cries out, but the adult Ionian keeps moving without care. Far away I hear Izu, as if it's scolding the child. After which the young Ionian sadly lowers its head. I'm still close enough to go and catch them, but for some reason I don't really feel like it. Peshy peshy, the ball rabbit hits my back with its ears. No, I can't do it. If I go after them, then my Path of Evil title will LV up. If that happens, then this desert will be destroyed because of my scales. Anyways, looking back, there is still some needle camel remains left around, so it's not too much of a loss. Ha, even though I was the one who defeated it. Was it because it has such a sweet smell? Is this the way nature works?
Ha.
I could hear Nina's unintentional laughter from behind. When I looked back to see, Nina hurriedly closed her mouth with her hand. Since she got a laugh out of it, I guess it wasn't too bad. Noticing that covering her mouth didn't work, she removed her hand with a bitter smile. Naya, you are pretty kind, aren't you? I guess this incident helped in gaining a little trust at least. If I would have attacked without hesitation, then her mood towards me would have definitely turned bitter. The ball rabbit angrily puffs its cheeks and turns its face sideways with a pooig. CH-123 Ball Rabbit vs. Camel.
Garua.
I shout while running in the desert, tapping the body of the three-headed Motorai Kemaru Dota reference lightly with my nails. Noguv. The three-headed camel rolled while bleeding from its chest and ran into a small sandy hill, burying its body. It shouldn't have died since I did it lightly, but it seems that its hind legs are shaking about. I turn around and call out to the ball rabbit with a gjord. I have to raise the level of the ball rabbit. If it ever gets dangerous, I'll need it to dig me a house. The ball rabbit jumps out of Nina's arm and gets on my tail. I have it go to the base and hold on with its ears so it doesn't fall.
Nia? What's going on?
Nina thinks it's strange, but I'm doing this since my MP has already recovered. I extend my tail towards the camel and the ball rabbit jumps off and approaches the prey. This is what is called power leveling. I was disgusted at myself at first, but I've gradually become used to it. I had to do this for it to grow. Did you think it will be fast enough if I didn't do this? Did I awaken to a battle maniac, or did my will just break?
Pefew.
2 fireballs are shot out from the ball rabbit.
This is its skill, light?
I think the fireball is bigger than before. Well, when I think about it, it only could shoot out one before. This is probably from the skill being LV2, right? I'll have to check the ball rabbit's status again when this is over. A fireball shoots out from the ball rabbit and attacks the three-headed camel. As expected, the difference in combat capabilities is large, so it doesn't seem to have received much damage from that. But the three-headed camel can't move much, so there's no need to be impatient. After the ball rabbit shot out a few more fireballs to the point of emptying its MP, it closed the distance to the three-headed camel. I guess it decided to enter into a melee combat. The ball rabbit lifts one of its ears and enters the range to one of the three-headed camel's heads. As if it was waiting for it, the three-headed camel stood up with shaking legs. I think the three-headed camel tired to make us relax our guard, because it looks like it's more injured than it should be.
No Guvia. Pefew?
When the ball rabbit noticed, it quickly hits the ground with its ear and jumps backward. But it's too late, it can't be avoided at this point. When the middle head opened its mouth, a thin stream of water shoots out from it, aiming straight for the ball rabbit. Such a cute name such as water gun doesn't suit it. It's like a water laser, it has enough power to crush the surface of a tree. The ball rabbit uses its ears to cover its face. It's like a defensive response to fear. Closing your eyes now won't change anything in this match. I put my hand in front of the ball rabbit and block the water stream. The water scattered with a splatter after hitting the back of my hand. The ball rabbit pulls in its ears fearfully and looks down while looking at the scene unfolding. I move my arm towards the three-headed camel as it's moving its head back and deeply pierce its body with my nails. The meat pieces scatter as the three-headed camel unceremoniously collapsed. 32 experience points acquired. Title skill Walking Egg, LV, activated. 32 bonus experience points acquired. I got some experience points at least. You can see how much it affected the ball rabbit, but it got impatient. The scary part about power leveling is that the ball rabbit could die if the monster counterattacks. Sorry about interfering, but I had to. That water stream could have ended badly if I wasn't there to block it. It seems that gaining experience will be tough unless the opponent is completely paralyzed. The ball rabbit tried to avoid an attack with all its power, so I guess it counts for battle experience. I wonder if something like that will also raise its level.
Still though, what was that skill called? Aqua?
It shot out water from its mouth magically? If that's so, I should tie it down and make it into a water camel tap. Life here would be much easier with that. Should I try it next time? The ball rabbit looks at me as if it wants to tell me something after turning its eyes towards the three-headed camel that I took out with a single blow. What is it, ball rabbit? You can go eat some meat if you want. You should be happier. I don't want to eat the heads, and I don't think Nina will either, so you can have them all. When I looked at the ball rabbit when I was thinking that, it started hitting my feet with its ears. Maybe it was angry because of the frightening battle it just had. I'm sure that this kind of fight was necessary. I don't know how long we'll be together, but if I leave you as is in the wild, then you'll be killed by a monster someday. Actually, it seems as though it's angry for a different reason. Well, for now let's check your status. Race, ball rabbit. State, normal. LF, 12/12, max. HP, 39/45. MEP, 2/32. Attack, 20. Defense, 24. Mana, 33. Speed, 27. Rank, E. Characteristic skill. Concealment, LV1. Food reproduction, LV3. Resistance skill. Hunger resistance, LV4. Poison resistance, LV1. Overeating resistance, LV2. Normal skill. Dig, LV2. Light, LV3. Playing dead, LV1. Wild whip dance, LV5. Swallow, LV1. Internal storage space, LV1. Charm, LV1. Shred, LV1. Rest, LV1. Title skill. Idol of the desert, LV2. Kin eater, LV1. LV up parasite, LV3. Big eater, LV4. Oh, its LV is already at max. It should evolve after eating one more meal. Some of its skill LVs also went up since the last time I checked. I guess it went hunting on its own when I wasn't looking. Leaving Nina alone. The skill light went from LV2 to 3. Well, that should have been obvious seeing as it was shooting out 2 at a time and they were bigger than before. Rest also rose up a LV from 1 to 2. Recovery magic is important, so please keep it up, ball rabbit. The wild whip dance also rose from LV3 to 5. Oh yeah, it's always petching me. Well, I hope that you were doing it to train. Among the skills that leveled up there was also Big Eater and Overeating Resistance. That's to be expected, I guess, as it always eats with vigor. I wonder if I should reduce its meals. When pigs are served, they eat as much as they are served because they can't get the food as steadily in nature, and because of this they try to pack in as much as possible. So if you eat every time till you're satisfied, you might break your body. So is it really better to limit its food? Resistance to overeating is essential, I guess, if it wants its body to grow. Well, for now, how should I separate the portions for me and Nina? I might be up for eating ahead. I wonder what the camel tastes like? I'm looking forward to it. When I nod to myself, my eyes focused on the ball rabbit as it started sniffing around strangely. What are you thinking? Are you able to tell what I'm thinking? Fa hi hafushi. A small amount of saliva flies out of the mouth of the ball rabbit. Certainly, there was saliva before at times. I hastily confirm its status, but there's no abnormality in its state. It's strange. I don't think this was due to the natural gases around. Could this be because of my dragon scale powder?
Cơ hở 124.
I cut the camel using my nails and cook it with my scorching breath? I won't eat the 3 heads, but I'm sure the ball rabbit will. Let's make sure to cook it well. I should probably put the ball rabbit in a little diet, but I'll leave it alone for today. Seeing as today will be the last meal we'll have together. There's no doubt that its strange behavior is because of my dragon scales. When I used to plague breath on the camel some time ago, it suffered from the condition curse small. However, the ball rabbit's condition is still shown as normal. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't affected. Perhaps even now the ball rabbit is affected with a curse small. If I stay together with them, then it may get worse and then they die. When I heard the previous explanation about curse from God's voice, there is a limited means for treatment as it acts as a type of poison. But if the one who cast it is separated from the affected in the early stages, then there is a chance that the affected will recover. Leaving now would be preferable. So when we finish eating, that'll be it. Should I let it dig me out a house? It would make it more difficult for the ball rabbit if I stay any longer than this. Was it when I almost vomited that plague breath got in? Well, it's more likely that it was my dragon scales. That also means that it will start showing up in Nina as well in a few days. I would like to take her to a safe place somewhere before that happens. Nina might hate it, but if worse comes to worst, I'll have to take her to the wall-surrounded city. It's much safer than this desert where there are crowds of monsters roaming. Although I do want to hear her story using human transformation technique, but it doesn't look like I'll get to.
Nephew?
The ball rabbit comes near me and stares. I'm sorry, ball rabbit. It'll be farewell at this point.
Nephew. Nephew.
Although my intention was not fully conveyed, the ball rabbit still angrily hits my foot with a pesha. This continued for a few minutes before the ball rabbit hangs its ears down as if it was tired and drops its eyes looking depressed. It'll be alright. If it's you as you are, you won't get eaten in this desert.
So that's why, don't put on such a sad face.
Nephew. Nina was sitting on the cactus skin, looking at our situation with an anxious face. She probably felt that something was amiss from our interaction. The camel's done cooking. But since there wasn't any salt this time, I just passed it over the fire a few times, which was difficult trying to make sure it doesn't burn. I placed the meat on the cactus skin which I used as a substitute plate. I prepared 2 plates for the ball rabbit and Nina, and I'll eat the rest directly without the dish. I added a lot of white fleshy fatty meat and also the 3 heads for the ball rabbit. I recommend that Nina try some while feeling anxious whether she will like it or not. I also put a piece into my mouth. The camel has a similar flavor to beef. There was a slight smell, but you could get used to it. I think that it's quite delicious, but when I start to think about the ball rabbit I lose my appetite. I raised my face to look at how the ball rabbit is faring with its meal and our eyes met. It seems it doesn't want to eat in front of me. Is my face really that gross? Why did you stop eating? It's quite delicious. When I encourage it with my eyes, the ball rabbit finally starts to eat the meat slowly. Naya, Mr. Dragon, did you get into a fight with the ball? Hearing that she asked me a question, I turned towards her, but seeing me do so made her body go stiff. I guess my body is too intimidating. Even now I'm confident that I will faint if I ever surprise myself by seeing my reflection. When I think about it, my human side would want to use my nails to cut my neck. Wait, ball? Does she mean the ball rabbit? Nina and the ball rabbit have become pretty friendly. Is it better to leave Nina with the ball rabbit? Even if I do, the ball rabbit still needs to protect itself. There's a time limit on how long I can stay next to things. Unusually, the ball rabbit left its meal. The ball rabbit is mad at me as it may have instinctively perceived that it was my fault. It also had on a dark expression, as if it knew what I was planning to do.
Hey, ball?
As I was watching the sky thinking, Nina feebly calls out to the ball rabbit. The ball rabbit began to tremble wildly and started rapidly growing. Is it evolving? Finally, it's time to see what the ball rabbit ends up as. The ball rabbit's body bulges and its sand-colored hair scatters. It lost the sand color and it started turning white? No, it's a light pink. It's kind of like a cherry blossom that's close to white. Isn't that color difficult to hide in the sand? I'm a little worried now. The softball became a small watermelon. This time there is more cushion and a person could probably sit on it. The first one could be carried in one's hand, now it's a small ball, so is it a medium ball rabbit now? Race, peach ball rabbit. State, normal. LV, 1/30. HP, 39/47. MEPE, 2/34. Attack, 18. Defense, 20. Mana, 26. Speed, 22. Rank, D. Characteristic skill. Concealment, LV2 Food Reproduction, LV3 Telepathy, LV1. Resistance skill. Hunger resistance, LV4 Poison resistance, LV3 Overeating resistance, LV2 Dirt resistance, LV2 Curse resistance, LV2. Normal skill. Dig, LV3 Light, LV4 Playing Dead, LV1 Wild Whip Dance, LV5 Swallow, LV2 Internal Space Storage, LV2 Charm, LV2 Shred, LV2 Rest, LV2 Clean, LV1. Title skill. Idol of the Desert, LV3 a Kin Eater, LV1 a LV Up Parasite, LV3 a Big Eater, LV4 Mutation, LV a Gross Eater, LV1. Peach, so there are peaches in this world. Is there anything inside of it? Well, isn't it that kind of monster? I had thought that its rank would be D-, but it went straight to D? Its rank is above the black lizard, about where I was at one point. The results of power leveling. Compared to the time we met, it's changed a lot. If its level increases, it could defeat a gray wolf. I can't imagine that happening. A strong enemy for the ball rabbit would be one that could dig holes. If there was one, then it wouldn't be able to stay here. The strong survive, but what about the ball rabbit? Resistance skill. Hunger resistance, LV4, poison resistance, LV3, overeating resistance, LV2, dirt resistance, LV2, curse resistance, LV2. But what is a curse resistance? Hey! God's voice, please tell me the details of the peach ball rabbit. Peach ball rabbit, D-rank monster, individuals that mutated to adapt to their environment by living their infancy as a ball rabbit in an unclean land, basically can eat anything. The land where the red ball rabbit inhabits is usually not a place where people can live, so if you see one, get away quickly. In theory, it is said that it will become reddish to send signals of danger to other creatures. So, since it was with me from the time it was an infant, it could tolerate me? Well, even if you could stay with me, wait, where's the unclean land? Am I the unclean land?
Is that me?
Why?
Who says I'm not clean?
Ball rabbit, the next evolution.
Kuh.
125 Telepathy. The normal skills that the ball rabbit gained after evolution are telepathy and clean. I think that telepathy was brought out because of the ball rabbit's strange observation ability. Also, clean. Why would it go that far? What exactly are you cleaning? Then, telepathy, there was a fellow who had it, if I recall. You could read the minds of others and send your own thoughts as well. Actually, as long as the ball rabbit could translate, I could communicate with Nina without using human transformation technique. It will be perfect if the ball rabbit could read my thoughts and have it sent over to Nina. Nina could just communicate with me normally since I understand it. Hey, ball rabbit, can you read my thoughts? I have something I want to ask.
Puha.
When I desperately pray for it to work, the ball rabbit raises its head and looks at me. Was it possible? Now with this, we could begin the ball rabbit phone operation. When I match my eyes with the ball rabbit, I could feel thoughts fly from the ball rabbit. I'm hungry. It only said that as it went for the camel that it didn't finish eating. Oh yeah, food is important after all. Well, it did evolve and its mass increased, emptying its stomach, yeah? Since the ball rabbit's ears have become huge, I wonder if it will drag its ears. It looks like it couldn't eat earlier as it was preparing to evolve, but now that it has, the hunger came back. Can't be helped. Ding ding, eat your fill. The ball rabbit grabs the head of the camel that he had left with its ears and throws it into its mouth. Munch, swallow, munch, bih. The ball rabbit makes chewing sounds over and over again with its teeth. After chewing for a bit, it followed with a swallow, and then came time for the next head. As the ball rabbit was finishing the third one, an eyeball from the camel popped out of its mouth. This fellow, isn't it supposed to be the idol of the desert? Even Nina moved back a little. No, even I'm having a hard time with it. Since I only ate enough to get a taste, I'll eat some more. I haven't tried the lump part yet. I was wondering what this will taste like. I bite into the back of the lump, tearing a good chunk out. It's soft. The texture, how should I put it? Entrail-like? It is a mass of fat after all, but I don't dislike it. While I was enjoying the taste of the lump, I noticed that the ball rabbit finished its meal. I swallow the meat that was left in my mouth and approach the ball rabbit to ask it to be an interpreter. Puha. The ball rabbit shakes its small head. Why? Race, peach ball rabbit. State, normal. LV, 1/30th. HP, 47/47. MEP, 1/34. Whoa, it MP is empty. That reminds me, you repeatedly used light in the match against the camel, and evolving doesn't recover the lost MP. I also don't know how much MP telepathy it takes. Let's try having you be my translator tomorrow. I hope Nina doesn't start getting sick. I wouldn't have thought that both the human transformation technique and telepathy would drain so much MP. I didn't think that it was that strong of a skill. I wonder if it also used rest? The ball rabbit's LV is low but its MP is at max. Should I raise its level today? Shouldn't I be able to raise its stats by handing it the experience like before? Will it not be that easy? When I raise my level, Son of the Dragon King lowers the amount of experience I need and Walking Egg doubles the amount I receive. My methods may not work well for the ball rabbit. Well, when we hunt again, I will have the ball rabbit try fighting again. If it gets tough, it'll handle it. I may need to have the ball rabbit and Nina make some room on my back, as I will need to carry what's left of the cactus camel for food and water. Also, I'll need to find the beach or some kind of body of water, as I'm sure Nina will want to bathe.
Garua.
I call out to the ball rabbit and Nina to get on my back. Once she gets on my back, Nina desperately grabbed a hold of the ball rabbit. I think that the ball rabbit got heavier, so don't try to force it too much. Also, Nina has gotten a little used to it as she is not as scared as before.
So, where is there an ocean? Perhaps it's this way.
The cactus must be hydrated with something. Reaching a body of water is the goal for now. I'll be fine, but Nina and the ball rabbit may need it. Ah, if there was still some of that huge cactus camel left, I could have safely stayed there. It can't be helped now, forget me. I don't feel like chasing down the group of hyena. That guy's eyes were too cute. Damn it, at least let me see you a bit more since you took all the food. Ha, I guess I'll just rest up my MP as I eat cactus. You must search for cactus on a continuous basis if you want to live in this desert. Would it be fine leaving this desert? I don't want to go near a village in my present form, and in this desert that's short on water I would look like even more of a monster. Nonetheless, this environment is not good for Nina. This is something I would like to discuss with her using my human transformation technique, along with the ball rabbit's translation machine. Oh, I could see water in the distance, the sea. No, isn't it too small for a sea? I can see something green moving. What the? There's a lake in the middle of this desert. It's not very big, but it's enough. In the lake's surroundings I could see long grass and lightly colored flowers. Isn't this a paradise? That right there, our base is decided.
Garua. Garua.
Fully excited, I reflexively turn my head and yell to the back to Nina and the ball rabbit.
Meow.
Nina tumbles in surprise, which wakes up the sleeping ball rabbit as it quickly fixes Nina's posture with its ears. The ball rabbit looks at me with strange eyes.
So sorry, but just now. But hey, look at the front. There is a lake, it's a lake. Let's go see it. Kuh.
126 Ruler of Paradise. A small mysterious lake located in the middle of the desert. There is also enough space for me to take 2 baths at the same time if I were to squeeze in tightly. But I won't do that since the effects of dragon scales will spread. Even though the water is crystal clear clean water, it will be ruined if I go in. I am unclean. Many colorful plants are blooming around the lake. My mind becomes clear just by looking at it. Is it just me, or is this an oasis? I wonder if there are water veins passing underground. Actually, I don't really understand much about this world. There could even be a crystal at the bottom of the lake where all the water comes from for all I know. As I approached, my present sense began to react. There must already be an occupant. I was surprised, but it doesn't seem like a bad guy, I thought as I watched the lake. Then something got up from the flower garden. I didn't notice it at first since it looks like a rock. Is it a huge slug? Its body surface was slimy, with a green that was close to black, which made it look eerie. Compared with the gorgeous oasis, it's a little out of place. It's also vandalizing the flowers by eating them from the roots. To even eat the soil. Not even the ball rabbit is that gluttonous. Other than that, I can't feel much danger. Even if there was, it's so small and weak that it's not enough to mind. It's not very appetizing, but if I want to make a base here I will have to eliminate it. I can't tell how strong it is from this distance, but it's about the same size as that cactus monster. At that size it will be difficult to fight with the ball rabbit and Nina around. I bend down and let Nina and the ball rabbit get off before reaching the lake. I'll leave Nina's bodyguard duty to you for a moment, ball rabbit. The huge slug noticed me and trembled as its 2 antennae pointed towards me. I stand in the space between the flower garden and the desert to confront the huge slug.
Status check.
Race, Amagarashi Superscript 1. State, normal. LV, 26/50. HP, 207/207. MEPE, 94/94. Attack, 190. Defense, 188. Mana, 138. Speed, 163. Rank, C. Characteristic skill. Soft body, LV, viscous body fluid, LV, water absorption, LV3, automatic MP recovery, LV5. Resistance skill. Paralysis resistance, LV2, poison resistance, LV4, magic resistance, LV4, confusion resistance, LV5. Normal skill. Mirage, LV5, praying for rain, LV3, dig, LV3, water gun, LV5 Spawning, LV4 Bloodsucking, LV2 Sandstorm, LV2 Flexibility, LV3 Self-Recovery, LV3 Title Skill Ruler of Paradise, LV Magic User, LV3 Come on, this isn't AC rank monster. Despite how it looks, its speed is high, and it also has a LV5 Mirage that I hate. Its stats are also about where the little rock dragon was. I was able to win then, and my LVs increased since then. I'll also be able to take a few hits from it head-on easily. I can't have this oasis without taking it down. Let's take it out for the ball rabbit and Nina. Leaving the ball rabbit behind was the right answer. It can't compete with monsters of this rank just yet. Alright, gather myself, concentrate. Present sense is already always on as an early alarm. I will use it to deal with the mirage, or the battle will drag on. There's a status difference, so I want to solve this as quickly as I can. I stepped into the flower garden and closed the distance to the huge slug immediately. The huge slug lifts its upper body to intimidate me. Shia. The slug's large body folds and divides into two. It doesn't have that kind of skill, but I do know what it does have. The right side is an imposter, and the left one is just an afterimage. Unfortunately for you, big slug, present sense tells me exactly where you are. I zone out my eyes and put my focus on my senses instead. My field of vision fluctuated and the big slug on the right disappeared. Resistance skill Illusion Resistance, LV1 was obtained. Alright, I got a new resistance skill. I can win if it's like this. I put strength into my feet, kick the ground and fly low. I swing my hand in the air and hit the head of the big slug with my claws. The heavy claws stabbed into the big slug's body. Putting strength into my fingers and gouge out the flesh. Ajawasu. Guts and body fluid splatter and the big slug screams in pain. I go through the right side of the big slug due to the momentum. Pieces of flesh from the big slug is left in my nails, so I shake it off, making it scatter around. I landed while turning my body and looked back towards the big slug. Bodily fluids were spilling out of the big slug's left belly. I made a mistake. I was planning to strike from the front, but my aim shifted slightly due to the mirage. Even if I could tell it was a mirage, I have a habit of always judging by the eyes. Would it be better if I fought with my eyes closed? No, that wasn't really the problem this time. Although its HP is pretty high, I thought since its defense isn't quite up there, I will be able to settle the matter with one decisive blow. Even though the hit was sufficiently fatal, the flesh is already growing back. Self-recovery, a skill. Its automatic MP recovery skill LV is also high, so it prolongs its use of skills. The tips of the big slug's two antennae form a point and aim towards me. I don't really want to know what it squeezes out. No, I'm sorry, but it is unpleasant. I'm a little wary of its offensive power since I just interacted with it. It doesn't look like it has a particularly dangerous skill, but it's pretty quick, so I just have to be careful there. I should also increase my present sense to ward off the mirage. I don't know whether any of my breath techniques will work, but I could at least draw its attention. Also, my MP is not at its best after the match with the needle camel. But if I use a feint then hit it with an attack, I should be able to suppress my MP consumption. I'll kill it with the next blow. At the same time I was preparing to jump again, the big slug began to spout liquid from its mouth. It is a viscous translucent liquid. It doesn't plan to hit me, instead it's scattering it around me. What are you doing? Play on the Spanish word amargar, or in English, embitter. Embitter, to cause someone to feel bitter or resentful. Kuh. 127 Slug Hell. The big slug's surroundings are now covered in a sticky liquid. What's your plan here? Some kind of secret skill to trap me? Is it like caltrops? I would be like a hanging fly if I go straight in, caught like a roach in a sticky roach motel trap, and in that time you would launch your attack. I think the best way to break through would be using Scorching Breath, as it has the most power. I can evaporate it all at once. I jumped towards the big slug as originally planned. When the big slug noticed, it turned its head to the ground and gouged out the flowers as it dived into the ground using dig to escape. It would be fine if it actually escaped, but I don't think it can live in the desert with such a slimy body. There is no way that he will let go of this place. It will only be trying to keep its distance from me. I will put my head into the hole and burn it with a breath attack. This hole will be its grave. When approaching the hole, although the enemy couldn't be seen, present sense suddenly started reacting. Not one or two, but numerous bodies have been detected. What is this? It wasn't like this a little while ago. Characteristic skill presence sense LV increased from 2 to 3. As the skill LV rose, so did my understanding of what was detected. It was the sticky liquid roughly in the shape of a slug. My field of vision fluctuated and I could see a lot of round things spread around in the liquid he scattered. The size of the sphere is about the same size as the ball rabbit when we first met, which happens to be like a softball. It seems that it was difficult to see thanks to mirage. If it's done in such a large scale, presence sense won't be able to pick it up since it all looks the same and it's been crafted into small parts.
Even if I could see it, what is it?
The number of spheres is roughly over 30 from the looks of it. Like him, they are dirty green somehow. I feel as though I've seen this somewhere before.
Oh wait, I remember, it looks like a frog's egg.
As I was thinking that, I spit out scorching breath at full power. The strong flames burned the sticky liquid and large slug's eggs. 12 experience points obtained. Title skill walking egg, LV, activated, 12 bonus points obtained. With so much of a rank difference, the experience I got from that was so low. What were these guys ranked? Well, even I was born with an F rank. No, if you think about it, could they even be considered as born yet? They were eggs. From the looks of it, about a third of them were outside of my range. The membranes of the eggs from outside my range begin to break and the young slugs start to emerge. Race, baby Amagarashi. State, normal. LV, 1/25. HP, 12/12.
Mepe, 8/8.
They are rank D. The difference in status is so much that I only need to scratch them with a fingernail to win. But there sure are a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
G dash. GG.
Yeah.
A huge group of baby slugs approaches me while wiggling around like worms. Fast. Reasonably fast, and they are going at it with absolutely no hesitation. It's hard to see their figure in the flower garden, but I could cope using presence sense. Perhaps it was lucky that I couldn't really see them. I would probably look away even if I could see them. Salt, salt, bring me some salt. I ask for the thing that will likely kill them all. I spin my tail and whack a few of the incoming slugs. The surrounding slugs are crushed and a few of them stick to the tail. Ugh, it's pretty grotesque. Every time one gets taken out I gain an experience point. Though this is quite efficient, I do not want to keep doing this until I LV up. After seeing their brethren being taken out, they take a distance from my tail and spit out a mulch-colored liquid. Ouch. Although the damage doesn't get through my scales, it still stings a little. Stop that, do not defile me anymore. I want to sweep them all up with a breath attack, but the liquid from before makes me want to vomit instead. I had planned to use as little MP as possible, but I can't hold back now with so many eggs around. I thought about crushing them using roll, but the small slugs have neither attack power or defense, so there is no need to do so. Besides, I will be disgusted if the guts stick to my back. The small slugs are somewhat fast, but they are far slower than myself. I'll just stay away from the weird liquid, shorten the distance and smash them with my tail and fingernails. The skin of the slug went under my nail. No way, seriously no way. This is making me want to run away. When I looked back, I saw Nina holding the ball rabbit with an uneasy expression. While the ball rabbit continues as usual, irresponsibly shaking its ears as if it's yelling at me to continue. Actually, ball rabbit, what's with that drool hanging out of your mouth? What, do you want to eat the slugs? Which reminds me, aren't slugs related to shellfish? No, I don't even want to consider eating any. Actually, if it's the small slugs, even the ball rabbit could beat them down. Please switch with me. That way I could be the one protecting Nina, and you could swallow up as many of the small slugs as you want. While thinking of various things, I finally returned my gaze to the small slugs in front on me. There is a large amount of them, but they are not tough opponents. While I'm being sprayed with a green liquid, I continue to cut them down. LV of Evil Plague Dragon went up from 29 to 30. I wonder why, but I'm not at all pleased with the LV up. I'm not quite sure, but I feel as if I'm reaching a new level of enlightenment. Finally, the last one was killed with my tail. I turned towards the hole that the big slug dug up. Now, stop hiding behind your harassment tactics. Get out here and let's settle this. From inside the hole, small slugs begin to spring out.
It's a lie.
Are we still going to continue slug leveling?
Kuh.
128 large slug hell. Small slugs came out of the hole one after the other. It's useless to keep killing them. I'll just push through the small slugs and let out a scorching breath into the hole. Since there is significant difference in status, I should be fine with taking some damage even if I were to get stuck. The question, however, just how far did the large slug dig? I hope the fire can get to it, but if you get surrounded inside you will have trouble getting out of it. Since the sand that makes up the walls are thick, I can't detect any signs all too well. Should I pour in seawater? Its ability to breed is too high. Why are you so unreasonable, large slug? At this rate the entire desert will be filled with large slugs. I wonder if they would refrain from cannibalism due to food shortage. While swatting around the small slugs with my tail, I reach the hole where the big slug is. Right then, Present Sense picked up something from right below me. This guy, he left me a horde of small slugs thinking it would be enough. This is rather disappointing. Thanks to Present Sense, I can tell it was already planning a surprise attack on me. I jump off the ground and extend my wings to fly. Rotating myself, I extend my arm downwards and fly down towards the ground. As expected, the large slug peeks through the sand. Presence detected, entity confirmed. Orders confirmed. Oh, looks like this was a surprise attack, which is a shame since currently I'm in perfect form. I pierced its neck with my claw this time, and with the momentum from the fall I cut off its head. The head of the large slug flies in the air and disperses. The rest of the body also begins to rupture and the flesh starts flying towards me. No, this isn't just pieces of flesh. One piece after the other, they're all small slugs. What? It got me. This is not the large slug. It made a pseudo-body using the small slugs with the mirage. With the Present Sense, I was able to see that it was actually hidden deeper underground. The small slugs that attacked start wrapping around my body. Wait. You're making me really slimy. Stop it, seriously stop. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Even if there's no physical damage, I can still receive terrible mental damage. Are they trying to suck my blood? Scales, I'm counting on you, please do your job. The slug swarm is sucking my blood, it's like I crossed into hell. I could crush them with my nails, but I don't want to touch them. Should I send them all flying with roll? No, that doesn't sound too pleasant. Isn't this just an elaborate form of harassment? Well, in the first place it was supposed to be something small to buy time anyway. Whether it was earning time to escape or to land a strike on me, it has certainly gained its chance. For now I just have to endure it. This is my chance to sniff out the guy lurking in the ground. Regardless of how slimy my body is or if my blood is being sucked, right now I must focus. I slightly bend my body and make my breathing rough so as to appear weaker than necessary. The chewing slugs are tasting me a lot right now. It's rarely possible to slurp dragon's blood. There was a reaction from a Present Sense under my tail. This time it's the large slug. Attaboy. Jump in. It'll kill you at that moment. Shia. Along with the cry of the large slug, something sticks to my tail. Ugh, get off now. I pull the clinging large slug into the air from the ground with my tail. I bring in my limbs and tackle the large slug with my body using roll. Jaya. I send the large slug flying and scatter the small slugs clinging to my body. This is my chance to end it, but I can't kill it as it is. I close my eyes and repeat my tackle with roll against the large slug, relying solely on Present Sense. I chase the large slug and tackle it precisely so that it doesn't fall to the ground. It will dig another hole and run away again if I let get to the ground. Let's do this. The large slug finally looks exhausted after the third round of juggling. 416 experience points obtained. Title skill Walking Egg, LV, activated, 416 bonus points obtained. Truly AC ranked monster. The experience points were plentiful. Evil Plague Dragons, SLV has risen from 30 to 36. Oh, it rose up quite a bit. Although, I rather avoid fighting with slugs from now on. Since the maximum LV is 75, I've finally arrived at the turning point. It's time to start building up my list of good deeds. I'll have the ball rabbit teach me recovery magic. Characteristic skill, Present Sense LV rose from 3 to 4. Oh, it went up again? Maybe since I used it to kill the opponent this time. Well, whether it is from fighting or hunting, it is important to properly raise it. Still, there are a lot of small slugs left, but I will have the ball rabbit take care of it. It will be done soon. I wonder how Nina is holding up. I redirect my eyes towards the oasis. The shape begins distorting. Huh? What happened? The colorful flower garden loses its color, and the clear water changes to a brown color. It is obviously shallower than how I saw it earlier. In the meantime, the gorgeous paradise gradually disappears, only to leave behind a shallow brown swamp and dirty weeds competing for water. The remaining small slugs crawl in, making a layer of slugs.
Hold on, what is this? What's going on here?
This is fraud, hey. Sorry, but this isn't what I expected.
Return it.
Return my oasis. I got covered in the slug's body fluid for this oasis. Resistance skill, illusion resistance, LV rose from 1 to 2.
Too late. I've already been deceived big time.
Come on, are you serious? That oasis was a hallucination.
Hey.
This is too cruel. I wouldn't have fought if I knew that it was just some shallow swamp. That large slug, it had a grudge against me and did this. 129 cleanup. I stand in front of the dead large slug and check the detailed information of the monster. Amagarashi, rank C monster, the power to attract rain clouds. It has a habit of making pools of water into their own nest. Therefore, in places where the Amagarashi lives in large quantities, the surrounding places will dry up. In addition, the times when it is child-rearing, it often shows hallucinations to lure in prey into the nest. Ah, yeah. I was successfully lured into the large slug's nest. I'm sorry but not sorry. I don't think I could feel bad for what I just did. Also, this is a desert, but I don't think it was due to a massive outbreak of slugs. I haven't seen any similar water pools until I came here, so I think that this was a desert from the beginning looking at the size of it. Perhaps, this was a sluggy paradise in the past? Haha, well, no point in worrying about it now. What's important now is what I'm going to be doing today. This water. I can't let Nina drink it. No, even I can't drink it. I feel that you will get sick with something if you drink it. I mean, it's the same color as the large slug. Actually, it shouldn't be harmful, but still, I don't want to drink it. You are terrible, large slug. Just how much are you going to tear at my heart until you're satisfied? To me, who is feeling down and suffering, the small slugs start gathering again. While flicking them away with my wings, I look back towards Nina and the ball rabbit. Nina had a stiff face while looking at the slug hell. On the other hand, the ball rabbit had gleaming eyes. Ball rabbit can eat anything, but is whatever okay? Phew. When I signal the ball rabbit over with my eyes, it jumps out of Nina's arms and comes over. The small slugs are rank D. At this level, even the ball rabbit can destroy them alone. It will be hard to be surrounded so closely, but I'll be following from the side if I'm needed. I'm unwilling to continue fighting the slugs myself as there is no longer any way to wash myself. Will I be able to wash myself at the sea tomorrow? I wish there was more water than this. If there was, I will gladly paint my body in slugs. First, I'll back off a bit and see how the ball rabbit fights. Although it doesn't have a lot of MP for flashy moves, the ball rabbit's overwhelming status over the small slugs will be a sure victory, so it shouldn't be dangerous. The ball rabbit has a bigger appetite than me. Let me go get a better view. The ball rabbit slams the head of a slug with a whip of its ear and wraps it up as is throwing it into its mouth. Are you really okay? Are you a parasite or something? Did your brain get taken over? It's chewing as if it's delicious. Sorry, but I won't be doing the same. Some of its HP got shaved off by the small slug's fluid projectiles and blood-sucking, but it fully recovered thanks to food regeneration. Perhaps having that kind of skill is quite effective when facing multiple opponents. In that case, then I think that guy will be able to handle this somehow. Eat as much as you want, please digest everything and clean it up. I'm sorry, slugs, but I won't involve myself with you guys again for the rest of my life. Get away and escape. Unless you don't want to be raised anywhere else, but if you decide that you will rather live, then you will escape from here. I won't concern myself with you anymore. The small slugs start gathering around and surrounding the ball rabbit. While I was wondering if it will be able to handle it, the ball rabbit stared at me with a glance. Its LV is going up and there is still plenty of HP left, but looks like its ears got tired. The moment I thought of helping, I remembered the slimy feeling I felt on my wings and turned my face. It's alright, ball rabbit, you can still go on. Was it a lion or something that I was told would push their child down to the bottom of a cliff? Some kind of theory or practice about thinning out the herd. I felt the ball rabbit staring at me badly, but I just looked up at the sky, desperately trying to think of something different to distract myself. Oh, because of the large slugs praying for rain, it is certainly just a bit cloudy here. Compared to other places around here, the clouds somewhat block the sunlight, making it a little comfortable, yeah. Let's not think about where the clouds are gathering towards. Puha. Puhi. Sorry, but excuse me from the slugs already. If you really think that you can't handle it, I will help you. After about 10 minutes, due to the ball rabbit's struggle, the large group of about 40 small slugs had decreased to its final 3.
Well done.
Please quickly take care of the rest of them as well. Race, Peach Ball Rabbit. State, normal. LV, 8/30. HP, 39/51. MEP, 2/4.
Oh, its LV went up.
But as expected from your food regeneration, Ball Rabbit, you've received little damage. Although it is apparently exhausted already. Gee! The thickest small slug cried out in a strange voice and attacked one of its own. It leaned in and suppressed it to keep it from raging. The slug that was attacked and pinned down stopped moving after convulsing a little. The slug that took its friend's head moved on to attack the next one. Did you get shocked from seeing your friend attacking? It becomes food for the thick slug with no resistance. What, are you a kin eater? No, it probably thought that it had no other choice to beat the enemy without raising its LV by eating its companions. The small slug that ate its friends grew larger than the others and closed the distance to the ball rabbit by contracting and expanding rapidly.
Jithith. Pefu?
This is bad. The ball rabbit has plenty of HP, but its fatigue is too great. The reaction is slow and it can't keep track of the incoming small slug with its eyes. Jaya. The small slug greatly jumped. The ball rabbit covered its face with its ears. No, that kind of guard is useless. Although your eyes instinctively closed due to being surprised by the attack. During a battle, that action is only disadvantageous. I swept my arm down on the quickly approaching slug and skewered it with my nails. 2 experience points obtained. Title skill Walking Egg, LV, activated. 2 bonus points obtained. Ah, I got slug in my fingernail. I got pieces of its flesh under my nail.
Pefu?
The ball rabbit moves its ears and looks up at me. I shake my arm around. The sticking pieces of slug slip off and fall into the swamp and sink.
Kuh.
130 Dream Paradise. We will stop here for today, it will be a good place to rest. The lake which looked beautiful was just a ghost, a dirty swamp in fact. But at least here the heat is somewhat cooler than in other places. There are thin clouds hanging around in the sky so the sunlight is a little relaxed. It's probably due to the large slug's skill, praying for rain. The ball rabbit seems exhausted from its fight against the slugs, and Nina should be considerably tired from trying to stay on my back during the travel. Although I do try to be careful, I still shake up and down while moving. Riding comfortable is not something we have. Normally, a dragon is not the kind to let people ride them as they walk. Let's have a good rest as we're all tried, rather than to move around again. When tomorrow comes, I will use the ball rabbit's telepathy, a skill in my human transformation. I should be able to talk to Nina better this time. I gathered the long grass growing around the swamp and made a bed for Nina. Sleeping here still isn't great, but it should still be better than lying down on the sand. When Nina lied down on the bed of grass, the ball rabbit moved to her side and tucked in closely beside her. Nina was surprised and opened her eyes wide, but when she saw that it was the ball rabbit she laughed and held the ball rabbit tightly. They get along quite well as if they are good friends. Is there some way that those with beast ears can communicate with each other? I confirmed that Nina and the ball rabbit were sleeping and put my belly on the ground. Although I keep my eyes closed and my mind asleep, I try not to interrupt my attention to the surroundings with present sense. I must be ready to act in case of emergency. If a gigantic centipede approached, it is necessary to escape with full power. Stay still and concentrate on making my body rest. Eventually I feel light on my eyelids and wake up. The day came while I was resting, it's now morning. I lightly poke my head with my tail and shake my head. Wumma, my head feels dull now. Well, after using present sense, I guess you wouldn't really feel like you had a good sleep. Since I have a body of a dragon, it's tough so there is no need to, but I occasionally want to sleep soundly. I at least want to have a sleeping day where I sleep all day 1 day out of the week. In that respect, my life in the forest was nice. If I was sleepy I could sleep well because there was not an enemy that could surprise me near the bed, and I did not feel thirsty because there was a beautiful lake where I could walk to, and there was also the occasional gray wolf I could have as a meal, so I was not worried. Well, it can't be helped if I grumble from time to time. Okay, I have to raise my LV to the point where large centipedes turn around. That would make it much easier to find water and food, and it make me feel more relaxed so I could sleep properly. Let's think positive. Now then, the ball rabbit's MP should be recovered by now, that way we can experiment to see if whether it can use telepathy to communicate with Nina. Actually, where is the ball rabbit? Last night it was supposed to be sleeping with Nina, but there was only Nina on the grass bed. What kind of dream are you having that your cheeks are loose while letting out a sue, Naya? It's a nice sleeping face. When I think of her dreaming about her hometown, I remember her circumstance and start to feel a bit miserable. Thank you very much, Naya, Mr.
Dragon. From what to what? Sozi.
If you say something like that, I feel somewhat embarrassed. No, to say that with such a happy face. I will say thank you when you awake, although I scare you often. I'm weak to such a thing because from the beginning a dragon lives with hatred directed from and towards the people. Where are you, ball rabbit? Where did you disappear to? Was it that Nina's sleeping posture was unexpectedly bad so you eventually dug out a hole and went in? Focusing on present sense, I scan around. There in the distance I could see that the ball rabbit is moving while dragging its ears towards the swamp. What is that guy doing? No way, are you going back to drink that gutter swamp? Actually, with the ball rabbit's belly it's not wrong to suspect it would do that when it's hungry. I chase after the ball rabbit and get closer to the swamp. Pephew! When the ball rabbit approaches the edge of the gutter swamp, it raises its voice while extending its ears. Blue light began to leak out of the ball rabbit's body, and then it went into the gutter swamp. When the blue light touches the surface of the water, it ripples and spreads, and the turbidity of the swamp also spreads accordingly. What, was the dirty swamp cleaned? At the end of the swamp it changed to clean water, although it was only a part of it. The ball rabbit looked back at me and cried out proudly, Pephew! I began to drink the water by skimming my mouth across the surface of the water. Hey ball rabbit, since when were you able to do something like this? Please tell me.
Oh, maybe it's that.
It's the skill, clean, that you acquired when you evolved into the peach ball rabbit. It is clear that it was a skill with a water purification function. It did not have the MP yesterday. This is good fortune, how lucky. I have to immediately wake up Nina and tell her this as well. Nina didn't say anything, but she should be pretty thirsty. I'm overjoyed knowing about this. I instantly return to the grass bed and raise my voice to wake Nina with a garua.
Anya.
Nina was surprised at my voice. She woke up in a hurry and raised her body as if warming up. I was wondering if she was okay with waking up, but then I suddenly woke her up with a roar of a dragon suddenly. I am confident that my heart will stop if I were a human. I guess she was tired and it would have been better if she slept until she got up naturally. The tension has risen and it feels like it's getting worse. Hey to Toto, Naya, good morning, Mr.
Dragon. What did you need to come over like that?
Garuo. Wah, I need to quickly apologize.